Good afternoon. So, my name is Ram Sudhir. I teach economics in Vision IAS. So, we'll try to understand how to prepare economics for general studies. Okay, so how many of you are worried about economics? How many of you feel that economics is difficult? Like there is this fear, no, economics is very difficult and things like that. So, okay. How many of you are from economics background? Okay. And those who are from economics background, how many of you are fearful of GS economics? Okay. Just wanted to see. So here what, okay, so we'll try to understand how UPSC economics is little different from the regular economics which we read. Okay, so how many of you have seen the syllabus copy of UPSC? Syllabus copy, check the syllabus copy, like what is there? Okay, others have not checked it. Okay, how many of you have some work experience or something? Okay, fine, just to have you have a work experience. So we'll try to understand comprehensively like what has to be done from the beginning till the main stage. Okay, so I think if you are focused for next 40-45 minutes, you will get clarity as to what exactly we should be doing with respect to economic strategy. So first question is, why should somebody study economics? Why should somebody study economics? Like, what is the use of studying economics? Forget about UPSC for some time and tell me like, why is it that there is a study called economics? Manage our finance. That means economics is equal to financial management. Okay, so that's what he says, okay. Huh. She's almost right. See here, there are limited resources. Actually, economists, I can put them as a saint and a scientist. Why? Because you can put him as a philosopher also. Why? Because economists will be trying to think exactly like what should be done so that these scarce resources will be distributed efficiently and effectively to everybody. That's a very important thing. So he's the person who will go inside the minds of people and understand that people are inherently selfish. Do you agree that? You agree with this line that people are inherently selfish, but whatever they show outside is probably something different. So 90%, 99.9% human beings are inherently selfish. So therefore everybody is working for his own benefit. He's not thinking about others. So the economist has to again think so that how out of this, in spite of there being selfishness also, can there be progress in the society? Can there be equal distribution of resources to some extent? And moreover, the resources are very scarce. So this is the main objective. This is the reason for study of economics. Now, we do not have core economics in UPSC general studies. First thing which you should remember is, we don't have core economics. So is there any difference between economics and economy? So we say Indian economy, isn't it? We're studying about Indian economy, global economy. So is there any difference between economics as a subject and economy, Indian economy? When I say Indian economy, is there any difference between both of them? That is what, so when I say, see, basically, of course, we're not talking about the concept. When I say economics, we study macroeconomics, at micro. There is also mesoeconomics. Macro is there, micro is there, meso is there. We're not talking about that right now. But in UPSC, when I say economy, see, there are theories which define few things in economics. Now, theory, you know what is a theory? For example, if I say Nehru Mahalanobis model, it's a model. So the model says something, but in general studies, you don't have models, you only talk about implementation. In the economy, it is only implementation. When I say financial systems, it is only about how banks are performing, how money markets are performing, how money is performing. It is only about the practical aspect or the application aspect you're going to look into. The theoretical aspect is not asked when it comes to general studies. Maybe in the optional, we do some theoretical aspect like the thinkers and their thought processes and the theories which they have framed. That is not there. That is the reason UPSC economy is very, very simple. So first thing, you have to strongly believe that, yes, economy is easy and very simple. And especially in the preliminary stage, there is a success rate of 90% which you can get. Success rate of 90%. If I'll say 95 also. Suppose there are 15 questions. It's like maths. If I know the concept, I get the right answer. Okay, so this is, you say cost benefit analysis. Heard of this word? Cost benefit analysis. I put in little effort, but I'll be able to get maximum benefit. That is possible in economics. For example, there are 18 questions, you can get 16 to 17 right on dot. And that is generally that is difficult in most of the subjects when we study for the general studies. But in economics, yes, I know the concept, I get the answer right. So this is how it is. Okay, so why study economics? I think it is clear. So in general, we study economics because the resources are very scarce and limited. And since people are inherently selfish, the resources have to be utilized efficiently and effectively. So when I use the word efficiency, there's a word efficiency and there is a word effectiveness. Is there any difference? Efficiency can be only positive. Effectiveness can be negative. Huh? Efficiency is related to speed. Okay. Efficiency. See, effectiveness. See, suppose I'm building a dam, constructing a dam. If I'm going to construct the best dam at least possible cost. Okay. So what is that? That is called as efficiency. That is efficiency. I'm being efficient because I'm using minimum resources to produce maximum output. So corporate companies generally try working towards efficiency. But in government, it is not just about efficiency. Suppose you become a bureaucrat, as an economist, your role will be different. So you can't think of just something like efficiency, but I also think of effectiveness. When I say effectiveness, the outcome of constructing the dam. Suppose you decided this dam has been constructed so that 1 lakh hectares of land have to be irrigated. This is the outcome. Getting the point, right? So outcome is also important. So efficiency is only constructing the dam with least possible resources. Outcome is nothing but effectiveness. I think it's clear. So 1 lakh hectares. Now going deeper, I'll also check out of this 1 lakh hectares of land which got irrigated, how much belongs to the poor. That is what is equity. So you talk about equity in government. Okay, so that is the reason when we study economics from the government's perspective, or when you study for such kind of exams, you will find an aspect of equity or inclusiveness. Inclusiveness is a word again. Okay, so that is a brief. Now the question is UPSC economics difficult? I think by now you should understand. I'll make you understand that UPSC economics is not at all difficult. and especially general studies, it is very simple and easy. It is becoming difficult because of complications in the market. Complications in the market. When I say market, again, market, even UPSC is also a market. Got the point, right? So when I use the word market, what is market then? Market is an economics word, right? So what is a market? Market is a place where buyers and sellers meet. Yes. Market runs on the principles of demand and supply. See, market runs on the principles of demand and supply. Okay, so is there anything else without demand and supply today? Can we find anything other than demand and supply? The whole world is running with respect to demand and supply, if I clearly try to observe. Okay, so market complicates things. Market complicates things means these aspects of demand and supply. See, today when I talk about poor people, when I talk about any commercial advertisement also, for example, when I say life insurance ad, have you seen a Jeevan Suraksha advertisement? LIC Jeevan Suraksha. So if you see LIC Jeevan Suraksha advertisement, if you can recollect the advertisement, how is the advertisement? Do you see a rich man, a middle class man, or a poor man in the advertisement? Okay, you don't recollect only. LIC is not popular maybe. Okay, so see LIC advertisement, which see life insurance is for everybody, but the advertisement shows the woman will be cooking, middle class woman will be cooking. The husband goes to office, nicely tucked, clean shaved, tie, and suddenly the woman gets a dream, your husband is no more. And then comes the advertisement, Jeevan Suraksha. This is the advertisement. This is the advertisement. This is the advertisement. You did not show a farm, rural farm. The man has gone for farming. The lady is cooking on the chula. Suddenly there is a snake bite. The person died. Jeevan Suraksha. Now this advertisement, why is it not there? When I say LIC is a government entity, this is something which very clear observation. LIC is a government organization and it focuses on welfare as well. Obviously, life insurance is something very much important. But LIC advertisement does not show a poor man. Why? Because the poor man does not have the paying capacity. That means the poor man is excluded out of the market. I think you're getting my point. What is market? Demand and supply. So poor man is outside the demand. When I say outside the demand, it is not just about your willingness to buy, it is also about your ability to pay, your ability to pay. So you don't have the ability to pay. That means market does not require you. You're not required. You're outside the market. You're outside the market. As simple as that. So government should come up with its own schemes for this poor man. So this is just to tell you that everything in this world is running right now based on demand and supply, including life insurance, including hospitals, including primary health care, including basic education. And people, when they're inherently selfish, there will be a lot of troubles, etc. So this is what I want to tell you. So government's role will be little different from the regular corporate world because it is not just about efficiency. It is also about taking care of poor people. I think you got the fair idea about. See, UPSC economics, is it difficult? It is not difficult. It is very simple. That's what we will try to decipher after some 5 to 10 minutes. Now, importance of Indian economy in our preparation. So where will I use Indian economy by my preparation of economics? Where will it be helpful? So first thing is, obviously you should be knowing that in the preliminary stage, I have put some marks here, the number of questions that have appeared. So you can see the number of questions here, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. This is a brief thing like, yes, the accuracy rate can be 90 to 95%. I am removing 1 or 2 questions because UPSC comes up with some different key sometimes. That is the reason. Otherwise, if you are thorough, you can hit 16 out of 18 or 13 out of 14. It is doable for everybody. You have to believe that, yes, it is doable. So this is one stage where I can get a chunk of 15 to 18 questions straight in the prelims. So that is the importance of economics. So when I say straight, accurate 16 questions, it is not a small thing. So this will be helpful for you to get that straight 15 to 16 questions. So 2 subjects which will give you that edges. One is the polity part and another one is economy, where if I am good, I get to the answer. Got the point right, okay? Then the next is in the GS3 paper, GS3 paper. So in the GS3 paper, around 120 marks, around 110 to 120 is economy plus agriculture. So economics plus agriculture is around 120 marks. And if around 9 to 10 questions, sometimes it can go up to 11 questions also if there are more questions in agriculture. So this is again another important area where economics is going to help you. That means your effort will not go waste. Okay, so that is what I want to tell you. Effort will not go waste. Then, if I have to talk about essays, so there is a usage of economics in essays also. So essay is one of the most important area. I think most of you should be knowing in mains. So earlier there used to be one economics topic in essay, but nowadays almost all the essays are what? Philosophical essays. Okay, philosophical essays. But earlier, for example, I'll give you some examples. For example, in 2015, there was this essay called, do you think capitalism needs to become inclusive? Do you think capitalism needs to become inclusive? This was an essay topic. So this was an essay topic related to Indian economy. Like this, you will find topics, but last few years, you don't have specific economics or polity topics. You straight away have all the topics are what? Philosophical essays. Heard of philosophical essays? Okay, so but my economics knowledge can also be used in philosophical essays. If I'm reading and understanding things, I can use my economics knowledge even in philosophical essays. So when I'm reading economics, I have to have 3 dimensions in mind. One is prelims, obvious. Second is mains, general studies, paper 3. Third would be, where can I use what am I reading in my essay? So when I'm talking about essay also, can I use something which I learn in economics in my essay? So this is a broad perspective which I will have when I'm studying economics. I think you're able to understand what I'm trying to say. I'll just give you a simple example. For example, this was, of course, this is a philosophical essay. I think you're able to see this essay. History is a series of victories won by the scientific man over the romantic man, of course. Now, understanding itself is little difficult, but I'll just break it down for you. So there is somebody called as scientific man, and there is somebody called as romantic man, right? Who is a scientific man? Who is rational? Okay, who is rational? And he works towards results. Okay, and who's an emotional man or romantic man? He works based on beliefs, emotions, etc. I think it is clear. Okay, both are important. I'm not saying, I'm not denying that romantic man is not important. But today, if I have to classify this essay into capitalism and communism, suppose I'm talking about economics here. I'm not talking about the essay. So today we can say it is a victory of capitalism over communism or socialism. Can I say that? Okay, so first of all, what is capitalism? Very difficult question. Capitalism runs on the principle of demand and supply. Markets, in simple words, okay? So in capitalism, you have more of private sector, all that is okay. But capitalism, basically what happens is, for example, I'll give you a simple example. Suppose I give you, each one of you have 1 acre of land and you started producing. And whatever you have produced, okay, I have taken and I have distributed among all of you based on your needs. Based on your needs, I have distributed among yourselves based on your requirements and needs. What is this? This is a kind of a communist ideology. So whatever you produced, I'll take everything from you and I will distribute it among yourselves based on the requirements or your needs. Now immediately what you will think is, why should I work hard? Let me produce, let me have a laid back attitude. I'll not produce. Are you able to get this? But capitalism rewards hard work. Capitalism says, okay, if you put in effort, if you put in hard work, whatever you earn, it belongs to you. The profit belongs to you. And since humans are inherently selfish, so he wants to work for himself. And that is the reason capitalism has survived today. So capitalists are more of scientific people. I think you're getting my point right. Capitalism is, why today it's a victory of scientific man over romantic man, right? Capitalism is more close to scientific man and communism is more close to romantic man or the emotional man. I think you're getting my point. So it's an idea. Communism is, I'm not denying communism is bad. I'm saying communism is an idea which is difficult to push in because it is not aligning with the basic human tendency. What is basic human tendency? Selfishness. And that is the reason everywhere today you see capitalism or a victory of a scientific man over romantic man. Just to give you an example, that means when I read a word called capitalism, when I read a word called communism, can I use it somewhere? Can I use it in my essay? Able to get this? I can look at it from any perspective. I can take first green revolution also. Heard of first green revolution? Okay, using high yield variety seeds, chemical fertilizers, irrigation facilities, and today agriculture yield and food security is because of first green revolution. Is that okay? So that is how. So that means remember 3 dimensions. One is the prelims, then the mains GS3 part, and then the third area would be essay. Is that okay? Have you understood this? So when I'm looking at some topic, I'll look at from this perspective. So another important area where I will be using GS3 would be, of course, in ethics also you'll be using it, economy, and most importantly in the interview. See, in the interview, primarily the questioning would be from current economic topics. Remember this, like any change, anything which you observe. See, how do I learn economics? I learn economics without difficulty through observation and interlinking it to daily, whatever I see outside. I think you're getting my point. For example, today, when I say unemployment rate is high, okay, or there's huge amount of poverty in India, this is what you say. Okay, so it is all about interlinking and understanding why unemployment rate is high outside. Okay, so whenever government talks about unemployment, whenever you see unemployment, rather than looking at the theoretical aspect in the book, if I start thinking, why is it that unemployment is so high in India? What are the reasons for unemployment? Okay, so is there a solution for unemployment, etc. Similarly comes poverty or any other topic. So I have to interlink it with whatever I see outside. For example, I said LIC advertisement, just to give you an example. So LIC advertisement is an observation with respect to pure capitalism. Pure capitalism. So today it's not that somebody says, there was one boy who was saying, I want to run away from market. I feel like even spirituality requires market today. You know that? Okay, even spirituality requires, that means what? I don't have money, I can't buy. I can't go to the ashram also. Now this is something which you should understand. That means you're fixed in the market. You're fixed in the market. These are observations. These are observations. When you observe outside, it will strike you properly. This is what I want to say, rather than just sticking to the book. Is this okay? Yes?
Looking for an effective plan to begin your essay mains preparation? Adopt the structured approach of pre-decided themes and develop sharp essay writing skills. Break down complex topics to articulate your thoughts with logic and clarity. Enroll in the Vision IAS Essay Enrichment Program starting from 27th June, 1 p.m. Build your essay writing skills into your biggest strength.
Fine. Then in the interview part, you will be reading about, mainly the focus would be on current economy and government policies. This would be the focus. Now, I have written something like, I want to just break some myths. Okay, so because many of the students have like, no, economics is equal to numbers. And therefore I don't like numbers, and therefore I hate economics. So it's a very bad way to think about economics. Why? Because in UPSC general studies, there are no numericals. There are no specific graph-based prelims questions. Whatever you see in your NCERT macroeconomics textbook, even those questions or graphs or numericals are never asked. So this is first myth here is basically I've written fear of numbers and graphs. This is the first important area. Why people fear economics? Most of the students fear economics because of fear of numbers and graphs. So fear of numbers and graphs, if you have, you can take it easy, because economics in general studies does not require any kind of numericals. Is that okay? So that is the first thing. Second important aspect, very complex and technical. If you take up the question papers of mains and check, there will not be even a single technical question. I can challenge you. That means you take last 10 years question papers and you check the questions of mains. You will not find even a single, not even one technical question. Technical means what? There is some thinker, some theory. Okay, these are called as technical questions. You will not find even a single technical questions, but students unnecessarily try to read some difficult articles in the Hindu, which are not required for exam, and they create a notion that, oh, this is important, that is important, this will come in exam, and they create unnecessary fear. First, you have to break out that fear, because you should understand, if a topic is technical, it will not come in the exam. I'm not talking without proof. If a topic is technical, it will never be asked in mains. Never. In prelims, once a while, if we can give a word, like what is beta, there was a question in prelims, like what is beta and all, but otherwise, in mains, there will not be any question which is technical. You can go yourself and check. He will ask, what is the scope and significance of food processing industry? What are the problems of ration shops? This is how the questioning pattern is. So that is the reason, once you see the questions, you'll understand that there is nothing like complexity. Then why complexity? Complexity is because of multiple reasons. Because some senior would have told, like, you have to read this, read that. Or maybe in the market, you find so many books, you pick up every book that comes your way. Or you pick up every magazine that comes your way, probably Yojana, Kurukshetra, this. For general studies, all that is not required. For general studies, all that is not required. Even reading Yojana is not required. You have to believe. You have to believe that even reading Yojana or Kurukshetra is not required. Without reading these magazines, also I can get 105 in my GS3. You have to believe this. Okay. So then third is, economics background, is it required? Economics background is not at all required. Okay, so people feel like, many students who come and ask these questions like, I'm not from economics background. Okay, better you're not. Okay, so economics background is not at all required, because we are studying economy and not economics. We are only talking about application portion and not the theories. Is that okay? So that is another important aspect. Interpreting news articles. Now, this is one more important aspect. Nowadays, you click the YouTube button, you will have somebody explaining some news. For example, it can be in the civil services area, or it can be outside also. Is it that every news article, is it important? It is not at all important. The news article becomes important provided it is in line with my syllabus, number one. Two, the news article is not technical in nature. These are the two criteria. There are two criteria here. First criteria, whether my news is in line with syllabus. Second, is that topic or the news technical in nature? If it is technical, I just need to know what it is. I'll not dig deep into understanding how it works. For example, you would have heard of dollarization. This is a word. Dollarization is a word. Okay, so when we talk about dollarization, Argentina, there were a lot of discussions about dollarization. So the mechanics of dollarization, I need not understand. I'll just try to see what is dollarization, what is the impact of dollarization. That's it. Why am I doing that? Because is it part of my syllabus? Yes, it is part of monetary policy discussions, and therefore I read it. So very clear would be, I should have my syllabus copy in hand, and only then I will check which news is important and which is not. Something not related to my syllabus, I will not touch. Very important. It is very important that you leave the stuff which is not important. Is this clear? Okay. So another important aspect here, very important area, is bulky textbooks in the market. See, every year, the textbook size increases or decreases. For example, if you talk about Nitin Singhania culture, of course, this is one popular, I'll give you examples of different books. Even it can be Lakshmikant also, or any other popular book. Now, suppose there is a question on Sun Temple in UPSC. Sun Temple. And suddenly, you, as a student, you go walk into the bookstore and you open the book and you find Sun Temple. And there are 40 pages or 60 pages on Sun Temple. Now, what you believe is, this Sun Temple question has come from this book. But the Sun Temple pages have been added after the question has come. I think you're getting my point. See, I have to tell that my questions have come from this book. This is the objective of every publishing agency. Simple logic. So every time a question comes up, a new 100 pages adds up to the load of the textbook. And that is the reason every year you find this was a textbook. You take anything, you take Spectrum, Modern History, or you take anything, Lakshmikant, the book size is increasing. This is what you should understand. Now, is it required for economics? I bet it is not required for economics. Because economics, there are no questions asked from somewhere. It is purely based on basic concepts. So clearly basic concepts, I don't require bulky books. I will stick to one textbook which I trust, and I will go ahead with that one textbook. It can be any textbook of your choice. And when I fix to that textbook, I'll only read that textbook. Remember this. I will not jump from one textbook to another textbook. And in mains, there is no textbook that can help you. In mains, there is no specific textbook. If somebody is saying, this answer you can write from my textbook, it is wrong. It's not possible. It is your analysis. It is more from newspaper reading and your understanding of the topic rather than any textbook. So first remove this from your mind that I will buy this book, and that is not required. I think I've addressed few things. Any other doubts you have here, I'll take it up at the end. Okay, so till here I think it is clear. Okay, so what should I do basically as a student? What should be my approach for economics? I think till here, any doubts till here? At the end you can ask any doubt you have, right? Okay, so what should be my approach? One is strictly stick to basics. So what I mean by basics? So when I classify economics as a subject, I will have around 100 to 150 words. When I know these words, learning the subject will become easy and simple. For example, you would have heard of this word called inflation, deflation, disinflation. These are words, GDP. At the end of your NCERT textbook also, you find a list of words. So whole economics can be classified into around 150 to 200 words. Now, my preparation should start from understanding these words. I think you're getting my point. I'll not pick up a book. I'll not pick up a book which is written for UPSC exam. Remember this. This will confuse you. The things are becoming complicated because of this reason. You should understand the basic terminologies. And for that terminology, what should I do? One is you have Investopedia. Heard of Investopedia? Like the Wikipedia. Right? Any economics word I read, I can type it in Investopedia. And I will only read the first paragraph. Remember, I'll only read the first paragraph. I'll not dig deeper. Digging deeper is not for you. Digging deeper is for people like us, not for you. You will read only the first paragraph. So suppose I come across a term called, let's say, greedflation. It's a word. Greedflation is a word. It is in news. Okay. Or if I come up with a word called stagflation. Okay. It's a word basically. So I'll just check what the word is. I think you're getting my point. So the whole economics syllabus can be divided into 150 to 200 words and terms. And I will try to stick to those words. This is the first thing. Before 2015, 10 out of 14 questions you could have answered because of these words. Before 2015. Only thing is after 2018 that he's asking some difficult questions. And that is the reason you have to dig deeper a little. But otherwise, through basic words, you can answer more than 60% of the prelims paper. More than 60% through terms and terminologies. Is this clear? Okay, so one is understanding the words. Second is linking concepts with real life examples or situation. This is what I was talking about. I gave you one example of LIC, about markets, etc. Okay, so that is real life situation. Why? Because I will never forget. I will never forget when I link something to real life situation. Otherwise, I have to read it again and again. So that is one important thing which you should understand. Okay, so third point. Don't believe the market or veterans who complicate things. Wantedly, I've written this point. Because somebody says, no, the paper has become too difficult nowadays. Somebody comes and tells you like, UPSC is not cup of your tea. And somebody comes and says, economics is very, very difficult. You are from that background, this background you can't do. First of all, somebody who's going to reduce your confidence outrightly, you have to reject. Outrightly, you have to reject. You have to check it for yourself. You have to check it for yourself because each strategy is different, each person is different. And once my basics are clear, there is no question of complicating things. There should be, see, the things are very simple. Keep it as simple as possible. Keep it as simple as possible. The difficulty level, suppose, let's say in that 16 question, once in 4 years, there will be one difficult question or two difficult questions. Once in 4 years. Then and student starts preparing for these two questions, which will never appear back again. Maybe it will appear in once in 4 years. Once in 4 years, and you start making research on those two difficult questions, and you start believing that economics is difficult, and you forget that there are other 13 questions which are doable and which I can do. This is the mistake which you do. And many a times you take up most of the difficult mock tests also. Most difficult mock tests. Mock tests, you should take mock tests and you should improve your knowledge. But mock test also should not hit on your confidence. This is a very important aspect. You have to keep your confidence strong. I'll talk about that also. So don't believe the market. Complete research on syllabus and PYQ. Complete research. So in-depth research, I'll tell you how to do that research also. So I have to do a complete research on syllabus and PYQ. So this is my Bible. And I'm not going to move away from syllabus and previous year questions. In economics mains, if I do my previous year questions, my 75% of my preparation is over. Almost done. Almost done. If you're strong with basics and you are reading previous year questions, almost 70 to 75% is done. Okay, so then make your own handwritten notes. Now, this is another important, everybody has this thought like, now how to make that notes also we'll talk. Make your own handwritten notes does not mean I'll make bulky notes again. So there's no point in making bulky notes. This note should be as simple and easy to be read. Is that okay? So this is what I believe what the students should do. One is sticking to basics, linking to real life. Believe, don't believe. Believe in yourself. Don't believe in the market. If it all is hitting your confidence, then complete research on syllabus and PYQ and make your own handwritten notes. I think it is clear, right? So now main syllabus in economics is clearly defined. Clearly defined. And the question will be picked up from the syllabus. You check the question paper. For example, here if you see direct and indirect farm subsidy, it is there in the syllabus, you get a question straight from the syllabus. This is how the questions are asked. Out of 8 questions, you will find 6 questions directly picked from the syllabus. Is that okay? Understood? Okay, so mains is very clearly defined, so there's no tension only. And every mains paper, if you're good at or you're reading properly, you can almost guess 6 out of 8 questions. You can guess. After 6 months of preparation, after 1 year preparation, solid preparation, you can tell these are the areas where questions will come. And they will come from there, because in economics what happens is there are only 6 areas from where mains questions are asked. Only 6 areas. Only 6 areas like inclusive growth, economic growth, agriculture, unemployment, developmental problems, issues related to poverty. Are you able to get this? So this is how the questioning pattern is, where everything is very clearly defined. But the challenge is when it comes to prelims, the syllabus is not clearly defined in economics. The syllabus is not clearly defined when it comes to economics. So we have to define the syllabus based on previous year questions for prelims. Okay, based on previous year questions, you have to define the syllabus. And if I have to break down the syllabus, here, you can see I've written some topics here. Okay, so one is national income, money and banking, inflation. So one is terms and terminologies. So the questions, earlier the questions were very simple. If repo rate increases, what will happen to inflation in the economy? These were the questions. You can go and check. If you know what the word is, you can mark the answer. Okay, so these are called as terminology-based questions. But last 2 years, especially last year, the level of the exam has been increased a little. I'll talk about that also, what you should be doing. So last year paper, you can't guess answers. You have to understand the concepts properly, etc. So this is a new update which you should keep in mind. Okay, so here you can see the syllabus. Now, how did I arrive at these 11 areas? This is not clearly defined in the syllabus, but these 11 areas are from the PYQ. Anything can be asked from these 11 areas. And he will not ask anything else other than these 11 areas. Are you able to get this? Okay, so now coming to the approach. So what I believe is always we should have a minimalist approach. Minimalist approach means I will keep my content books to the minimum. I will not read n number of books. I'll not read n number of books. If you want to read n number of books, I will tell you which books have to be read. Not UPSC books. Not UPSC books. Not UPSC textbook. Don't add on UPSC textbook. It's useless. If you really want to read, for example, there is Abhijit Banerjee has written some books. If you're really interested, you can read books on poverty written by Abhijit Banerjee, if you're really interested. But there's no point in reading too many UPSC textbooks because most of the textbooks are copy-paste only. So the content is almost same. You don't find anything new or anything really interesting there. I think you got my point. So my simple suggestion is, for a layman, you should start with reading this book. There is this book called So You Want to Know About Economics. Now it looks like for a 6th standard kid. This is for a 6th standard kid or a 7th standard kid. Now it clearly explains very nicely how economy is, basically how the markets function, what is black money. There are stories for everything. Okay, so I've mentioned this book, but I've not put it for prelims or something. I've just mentioned it as basic reading. You can see here, basic. Okay, so for basic reading, I said, So You Want to Know About Economics. This is one book, which generally in the market, they don't read. But this is a very simple book, which you can understand very easily. Very easy. That means first thing is, right now you want to start economy, you're a complete fresher. I picked this book, in one day you can read it. Let's say you're a slow reader, probably in 3 days you can complete this book. Okay, once you do that, the second book which I can read on a casual note is something like, I'm not put this is for prelims or mains. This is again, I will read it for my enjoyment. You know what is enjoyment? I'll read so that I love economics. It will create some interest. And there's a book written by Sanjay Baru. It's a very basic book which shows how Indian economy has evolved over a period of time, like 75 years of Indian economy. So he observed, he was in the system for so many years. He has observed how Indian economy has performed and how government has framed policies. Okay, so that gives you an in-depth knowledge of like how the Indian economy has evolved over a period of time. When I'm reading these books also, what is the thing which I will keep in mind is, are there any economic terms and terminologies which are coming? For example, when you're reading a book, you find this word black money. You find this word inflation. So if I don't know this word, I go Google it out again. If I don't know a particular word, mostly it is explained, but there is some small word also which I don't know. I go and check in the Google. I'll see in the Investopedia what the word stands for. And this gives you a complete strong foundation to step into understanding Indian economy very properly. And for interview, most of my students, for the interview, everybody reads this book, 75 Years of Indian Economy. Any question on policy, you have to answer. And it also helps you to write introductions and mains. Introduction, but this is not UPSC textbook. You will not read it like a UPSC textbook. You will read it as something like on a casual note. Is this clear? Okay. Then for prelims, I have put some books here. Okay, so after these two basic understanding books, this is, if you read also it's okay, if you don't read also it's okay, but I suggest you read because this is very simple. Hardly it will take any time for you. Here you can see for prelims, you will start with NCERT, Indian Economic Development. NCERT 11th standard, Indian Economic Development. You will not start with your macroeconomics textbook. Remember this. You will not start your preparation with macroeconomics textbook. If you're not from economics background, this textbook can create fear. because you will find some numbers, you will find some graphs, and you start feeling, oh, this is not for me. This is the problem. And those numbers and graphs are never asked in the exam. This is what you should understand. Okay, so therefore, there's no point in starting with macroeconomics textbook. You'll read Indian economic development after getting this base, right? And then you will think of introductory macroeconomics NCRT. First Indian economic development, and then only you will read macroeconomics. Macroeconomics you will read by removing graphs and removing numbers. This is okay? Remove graph, remove numbers, and then you can read macroeconomic textbook. Now, any other textbook for prelims? There are many textbooks in the market. I am not supporting any textbook. I have selected textbooks based on the size. I like textbooks which are small, and that's the reason for prelims I believe there's no point in reading a bulky book, and that's the reason I've put this book. It's not that I like this book, but it's one of the smallest books which is available in the market, which is about the key concepts of Indian economy, written by Shankar Ganesh. He's an IRS officer. Okay, so this book is something like concepts. No, you have already purchased some book, you find that book is interesting, then you can skip this. You're not reading two books for prelims, it's useless. For prelims, actually, there's no point in reading two textbooks. Okay, now the main aspect for prelims comes up with respect to solving my previous year questions. How I will solve that also we will see. So this is about the reference books. I think it is clear for prelims. Okay, it's all about NCRT and one additional book of my choice. If you don't like this book, you can select your book. This is okay. Now coming to mains, I give priority to internet and newspaper. Okay, so there is no specific textbook for mains. You have to believe this. See, somebody asks, like, somebody tells in the internet or maybe in the YouTube channel says, I have written this book, all the mains questions have come from this book. No, the same question of old question papers have repeated. It may be there in the book. So it's not that the question comes from a particular book. Okay, but most importantly is Indian Express explained column. Heard of Indian Express explained column? See, Indian Express explained column, I believe it is good. There were some science and technology related questions also which have come up in the prelims papers. So Indian Express explained column, Indian Express, I am suggesting Indian Express rather than Hindu because one, it is easy to read. Second, it is not completely anti-government. Hindu sometimes has it has a hitting style. Okay, it says government, you're wrong completely. So you should write a balanced answer. So that is the reason. So Indian Express I've written. So Indian Express is one area that is for my preparation. Then I've written internet here basically because I have to collect data, anything from internet. And then if at all I want a textbook. Now some students say, no, I want a textbook. I will read some textbook. So for reference only, you can keep this book, Mishra and Puri. This is not again UPSC textbook. This is also written outside UPSC. And if I will only selectively read some topics. Is that okay? So selectively read means if agriculture is important, I'll go to agriculture and read agriculture only. Then I've written Vision IAS value addition material. There's a value addition material of Vision IAS, which is very good. Why? Because everything is compiled at one place. For example, I talk about food processing, public distribution system, you have land reforms. So getting material elsewhere becomes difficult. So everything is compiled at one place. So I'll keep that value addition material with me. Is this okay? Understood? So this is the source. Any doubts in the source? You have something else in mind or something? No. Okay. At the end, if you have, you can ask, like, you have purchased this book or you feel that book is better. You can ask any question. Okay, so these are my choices. And I've also written economic survey and budget. There is economic survey and budget. See, some students read last 3 years economic survey because somebody asked them to read. It's not required. If I read that year's economic survey, it is more than sufficient. I generally suggest you reading the full book rather than depending on somebody else's material. But at the same time, if it is difficult to read the whole book, there are synopsis also that is available. You can read the synopsis of economic survey. Is this clear? Okay. Now for current affairs, what has to be done? Okay, so for current affairs, my choice is very simple. So for current affairs, I'll keep things very simple here. One is Indian Express, especially explained column. Two, PT 365 and Mains 365, Vision IAS. So somebody is reading our Vision IAS monthly magazine, then you need not read this, but this is a condensed format, right? It's a condensed format of all the 12 months. So PT 365 and Mains 365. And then you have economic survey and budget. I'll only keep things, there's no, you will not read any economics related newspapers, economic times and all that. No, nothing is required. Keep things as simple as possible. Keep things as simple. Only three you will keep. Newspaper, for anyhow you read one newspaper. Now somebody may ask, sir, is newspaper compulsory? Yes, it is compulsory. If you ask me, is it compulsory? I say, yes, it is compulsory because it will give me a track of my issues that are happening. And when I read only magazine, probably my memory may not function the same way. But when I read newspaper and PT, then I think I'll be on dot. I'll never forget anything. I hope it is clear, right? So this is about the current affair portion. Now see here, the most important area, what is the most important aspect in my preparation would be, how do I analyze previous year questions? So if you don't read Shankar Ganesh also, it's okay. If I have analyzed my previous year papers in depth, I have mentioned something like research on previous year questions. Research means literally research. See, when I say, suppose I'll give you a small example, there was this question. Okay, there's this question which says, which of the following is part of foreign direct investment? This was the question. Which of the following is part of foreign direct investment? These are words, don't worry about, I'm not interested in explaining the concept, but you find some new words in the question paper. For example, here there's one word which says foreign currency convertible bond. So my research will be on this word. I think you're getting my point, right? It's not just the question. It is going deep into the options of the question, right? So foreign currency convertible bond means I'll read what it is, what is the purpose, why was it in news, okay? How is it different from other bonds? What is a bond? This is called as research. Research means really research. Okay, then here you find global depository receipt. So there's another word that has come up in the question. So I will read about GDRs. I'll read about GDR. I'll read about anything else other than GDR, like you have American depository receipts, you have Indian depository receipt. Then comes up why there is a depository receipt. What is the reason for having a depository receipt? So that is where my research begins. Maximum time has to be spent here. Maximum time has to be spent here, not in reading textbooks. I think you're getting my point, right? Not in reading textbooks. You have to spend your time understanding how these receipts work. Because tomorrow there will be an extended question coming from GDR. Is that okay? Understood? Then you will find NRE deposits. So I'll not stop with NRE. I'll also see, are there any other NRI deposits? Okay, there is NRO deposit, there is FCNR deposit. How is it going to function? How are the taxes levied? Can NREs really withdraw money whenever they want? All these kind of questions I will pose. This is called as research. Once you do this, I will get 14 out of 15 right. Remember this, if you want 14 out of 15, 15 out of 15 is very good, but I say 14 out of 15 right in the prelims when I do this research. And once you do it, you will get to know. You will mark the answers by yourself. Is this clear? Okay, so just to give you, now this question I have pushed in to give you an idea of how question paper has changed last year. So now understanding the concept is very important. So the understanding from the last year's question paper is when you find these options like this, okay, so it is very important that you understand the question. I think you're getting this. Okay, so understanding the concept. If without understanding the concept, it becomes difficult to mark answers in the prelims paper. So this is what we have understood from the last year paper. So when I'm reading a topic like GDP, I should in and out understand what is GDP. Is what I mean. When I'm reading inflation, I have to understand in and out what is inflation. I'll not superficially read inflation. Inflation is rate of increase in prices. No, that's not sufficient. I have to dig deeper into the topic. This is what is required now. Is this okay? Understood? Okay, now this is one question which was asked about investment, intangible investment. Okay, intangible. What is intangible? Something which I can't feel and touch. Okay. What is investment? Anybody? Anybody wants to try? Investment is capital goods. In layman's term, what is investment? In layman's, forget about capital goods and all. How do I define investment? You say, what is investment if I ask you? How do you define it? Something that gives me future return. Okay. In simple words, investment is something that is giving me future return. That is what is investment. Okay. But in economics, investment is always about capital formation. That is, you have more machines, more capital goods, and more machines. So these machines can be used for producing other goods. But machines are tangible. Are machines tangible? Can I feel and touch a machine? Yes. But something that is tangible will not be part of my answer. Something that is tangible will not be part of my answer. Something which I can feel and touch will not be part of my answer. Is that okay? Is there anything which you can see there in the options? Anything which you find that you can feel and touch? Of course, we're not discussing the concept, but just to see whether you will be able to. Inventory. Inventory is stock which you keep for manufacturing goods. Inventory can have raw materials. Factory is holding raw material. Inventory can have semi-finished goods. Okay, inventory can have finished goods. But all are goods we are talking about. So inventory is something which I can feel and touch. Heard of this? Okay, so this is how. So then I will read about inventory. Got the point, right? I'll read what is inventory. I'll read what is inventory, and how that is how you will start developing a perspective with respect to the previous questions. So I think you've understood. Okay, so how do you do research on the previous questions? Is this clear? Here it will take a lot of time. Your maximum energy will be invested here. Okay. See, many students have this doubt how to make notes. There are 4 simple things which you will keep in mind as far as economy is concerned for making notes. Okay, so there is no notes required for prelims, but still if you like it, you want it, you can do it. Because once I understand the concept, separate prelims notes is not required. But for mains, when I make notes, what should be my approach? So the notes should be crisp for faster revision. That means my whole economy should be condensed into 50 to 60 pages, which I can read for maybe 20 times before the exam. I will use flowcharts, block diagrams, and I will revise it more number of times. Automatically it will flow, because writing an answer in 8 minutes is not easy. If I have to write an answer in 8 minutes, it should flow. It will flow only when I look into something multiple number of times. Remember this. It doesn't happen like, oh, I've checked it, I go and I write. No, that will not happen. So therefore, crisp notes to be revised multiple number of times. Maybe your regular notes, maybe in the coaching institute, you have the notes which is 350 pages. That also I will condense it to 60 page. I will read. See, condensing is always very difficult. You should have a command on the subject. If I have to condense something, I have to read it 3 to 4 times and understand. Only then I can condense it. Once I've condensed something into 60 pages, means already I know the subject. As simple as that. And then I revise these 60 pages 5 times, 6 times before mains, and nobody is going to stop me. So, okay, so that is what I mean. Separate fact sheet for faster processing. Now, what I mean by fact sheet, I will have a data sheet with me. I will not, I will have everything at one place. For example, contribution of agriculture to GDP, contribution of employment, agriculture to employment, industry, like this. So I'll have every data which is important for exam at one place. Very important. Very important. Now you may say, no, I'm very intelligent, I will recollect. No. UPSC exam is not for the intelligent people, remember. Okay, so it's not, you can't recollect in 8 minutes. Okay, so then prepare pointers on topics of main syllabus. Now, if I have to make notes, what is the notes which I have to make? I will make 10 pointer or 6 pointer notes on the syllabus topics in the mains. I take the syllabus topic, I make 10 pointer notes, which I will revise. I will not make a bulky notes, not required. Got this point? Okay, so this is one more thing. Then focus on value addition, the last area. This comes, always value addition comes at the end. So when I say value addition can be done in different ways. See, when I say value addition, I think this 4-pointer is clear. So value addition, is it important? Yes, it is important.
Are you struggling to understand ethical theories and their practical applications? Many UPSC aspirants face this challenge when preparing for the ethics mains paper. To aid aspirants conquer it, Vision IAS presents the Ethics Case Studies classes from 30th June, 5 p.m. Master the fundamentals of ethics with a clear, structured approach. Stay ahead by interlinking topics with current events and real-world scenarios.
So, but that comes at the end, but it is very important. Why value addition is very important? See, if I get half mark more for each question, it is almost like, let's say I'm attempting 18 questions. It is 9 marks in one general studies. Almost like it will account to almost like 48 to 50 marks in my GS. You may feel like 48 to 50. You can't cover that 9 marks elsewhere. It is only half mark. It can bring in a difference between IAS and Armed Force Headquarters Service. There's a huge difference. Huh? There's a huge difference between both the services. Okay, so that half mark will be given provided I use my value addition effectively. So what kind of value addition? Value addition can be a flow chart. Value addition can be a bar graph in economics. It can also be a line graph or a pie chart. Okay, so this is just an example to show you how a bar graph looks like. This is over tertiarization and neglect of secondary sector. Of course, most of you are new, so therefore, this is something like I'm trying to show what is the contribution of primary sector to GDP, contribution of secondary sector to GDP, tertiary sector to GDP. This is what, in 1990s, what was the contribution? In 2000s, what is the contribution? So primary, secondary and tertiary sector. Are you able to get this? Tertiary means services, secondary is primarily industry, manufacturing, and the green one is the agriculture. Now, in 1991, there was LPG policy, economic reforms. Okay, so there's LPG policy. So if I have to talk about the impact of that policy on these sectors, a graph can speak 1,000 words. I think you're getting my point. A graph can speak 1,000 words. It shows like LPG did not change much in the industry. You can see it is almost, but it has reduced my agriculture, green one is agriculture, and it has increased my services sector. This is what is the conclusion from the graph. I think you're getting my point, right? So this is how I will tell him without writing loads and loads of content. I think you're getting my point, right? It's not possible in an 8-minute situation. Now here I've also put something like how each sector is contributing to what employment, etc. So this is just to give you like, yes, value addition adds value. So we don't have much time, so last 5 minutes. Here, you see here, this is a mains question which I have written. It is always important that I work smarter and not harder. Very important. It's very important. You can't work like donkeys. As simple as that. I have to use my intelligence to move faster and move faster than others. So that is basically, I will prepare crisp notes with respect to the content. So the whole content can be condensed like this. This, of course, this is to just tell you the significance of this question, food processing. So I have the block diagrams clearly made, and I keep looking into them multiple number of times. Remember this. This is how you will make a short notes. Is this okay? Understood? Right? So last part here is very important area. Using topper sheets. Now this is, yes, there is always something to learn from a topper. There's no denying this fact that I can't learn. But at the same time, two things I will keep in mind when I'm learning from toppers. I will check topper sheets for understanding content to some extent, presentation, the way they have drawn the block diagram, the fifth rankers content. Okay, second important thing is, when I look at topper sheet, I will not feel as if like I am low. See here, this is very important. You feel like he is the topper, she is the topper, and you're looking like this. No, I'll not look like this also. I'll not look like this also. I'll look, yes. This is very important. So that is the reason this, to be a great champion, you must believe you are the best. If you are not, at least pretend. Otherwise, you'll be knocked down. See, the problem here is when I'm seeing a topper sheet, if I believe the topper is far, far above me, and I look into the topper will not become in one day, no? It was maybe 4 or 5 years of effort, and that would be the question answer which you would have written in the 5th attempt. And you are comparing it with your first attempt sheet. And you should not feel low. I will improve, I will reach. This is the attitude. I'm not less than anybody. As simple as that. This attitude, yes, it is required. It's not overconfidence. This is not overconfidence, but at the same time, yes, I will learn from the topper, because topper's presentation would have been really good. And therefore, I will learn from him, but at the same time, I am also equally good and I can also do it. So with that attitude, I will check. And there are many things to be learned from topper sheet, because the presentation, especially the presentation, the way you presented, because of which you are into the list. It is not, because everybody will have content. Content is there. After reading for 3 years, don't you think everybody will have content? Okay, so in a 10 marker, how do I present? In a 15 marker, what is the strategy? And always align with that topper who is close to your style. This is also very important. Suppose you are not so great in English and you have selected a topper sheet who is extraordinary in English. Shakespeare. Huh? And you start comparing. No, you are an engineer, you don't know how to write a proper sentence and you write it point format. There is some topper who has written only in point format and block diagrams and he made it. He is my topper. It may be 60th rank or first rank, I'm least bothered. He is my topper. Don't select topper who is way away from you. Select somebody who is very closely aligned with you. And that will give you, and you can reach him. Got the point, right? So this is what is the last thing which you will keep in mind. So that's it. Thank you. Any doubts you have? Yes. No, economics part, you just glance through the newspaper. That's it now. I think you have to read newspaper at least after reading a basic book, right? Okay, so read newspapers in the sense like you can read, don't feel bad. Read. Nothing wrong in reading, right? Yes. For exam purpose, I believe that in-depth reading of newspaper you can do after reading the 200 to 250 words. First 200, 250 words, I'll know what it is and then get into the newspaper. Yes. Anything else? That's it. Everything is clear? Okay. Thank you.